They don't have any vision. They don't have any positive vision for a future of this country. They just only have negativity. They only have death. And Ludwig too, woke is so back. My coworker Ludwig spoke out on this. Hell yeah. I mean, there was an environment of silence. So does Cinna. Cinna's been talking about it though. It's not new. But there's been an environment of silence among streamers in general. And that silence, in my opinion, came from having a lot of this content sphere get dominated by right-wing clippers, dominated by Twitter discourse, clips out of context, and the only like vector for woke politics, the only vector for like normal politics, like normalcy, a demand for a better future was coming from a guy who was like the #1 op on the internet. So a lot of those people saw that and were like, maybe I shouldn't speak out because I don't want to get fucking yelled at in the same way Hasan gets yelled at on a daily fucking basis. And sponsorship deals and stuff like that too. So I think that's what it is. That's what it was. And now it's gotten to such a point where people cannot fucking keep taking it. Right? They can't keep quiet. They're like, this is too much. This is too much. And there's also a lot of confidence that you gain when you realize that you have the numbers. Because that's why I always say the internet is not real. Okay. The internet is not the real world. And because a lot of people spend a lot of time on the internet, they end up feeling as though the internet is the real world, right? And the internet is very right-wing. It's very, very right-wing. It's very far right, as a matter of fact. So I think that caused a lot of people to just like not come out with their opinions until it got to a point where it was like, this is undeniably cruel. This is completely unacceptable. Someone has to do something about this. This is so fucked up. And that's where we're at. Like, because this is what I kept saying over and over again, right? These are people. There are kind-hearted people. There are woke people, I guess. There are open-minded people out there. They're just not voicing their opinions because they're worried. They're worried that they're going to lose their fans. They're worried that like the environment that they're in, they're worried that the environment that they're currently in on the internet is how it is, like how they'll lose a big chunk of their audience because like all their audiences are fucking right wing or something. That's not the case.
I was originally going to make the video a lot more about that because, you know, that's a whole big thing. I said I'd be free after the movie was done if I was able to do that. But given, you know, what's happening in the world, and especially today in Minnesota, and there's a lot of times where I feel like there is no good way to go, haha, let me promote this thing in the face of ignoring all the other shit that's going on in the world.
Mark not shying away from speaking about ICE shooting in Minnesota and saying he didn't want to overshadow it with his own content, just speaks leagues about his character. Wait, what? He's saying he isn't comfortable simply making content and not covering it? Oh, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, Markiplier has always been woke.
ICE. Okay, but unironically, though, fuck them. Straight up. Hey, fuck them. Yeah, it's fuck them, don't care. And if you don't like that I say that, it's fuck you too. You know what I mean? Hey, it's fuck you too. That is that simple. It's really that easy for me. I'm telling.
I don't buy that bullshit. Hasan, for 3 years we watched children get murked and all these content creators stay silent. How are we all supposed to forgive them for speaking up? Brother, I'm not saying you should forgive them. I'm just explaining to you that the tide is shifting and it's a good thing. And also, secondly, ICE is also kidnapping children here in the United States of America. Children are children no matter where they are, okay? Children in Palestine getting killed by the Israeli occupational forces. Children in America getting separated from their parents by the American Israeli occupational forces, also known as ICE. They're both bad. So if people are starting to, at the very least, criticize what's happening in their backyards, it's a good start. Now it's pertinent on us to move them further along in their journey, okay? To help them understand that these systems of violence are tied to one another directly. And that's precisely my job, okay? But that's also, this is not unexpected. Also, Cinna's been saying this stuff, so it's not even new for Cinna. But I'm glad that there's a lot of people showing support for content creators who are actually speaking out. That's a good thing. Because this is how, at least in this environment, people start realizing that they're not alone. Because one of the things that I always experience when I'm outside, when I'm in the real world, when I go to these protests and I meet you guys in person, one of the things you always tell me is like, I always felt so alone about the way I viewed the world until I encountered your content and I realized that I'm not so alone. There are so many of you that actually come from fairly right-wing neighborhoods, fairly right-wing backgrounds in general, right-wing families, feeling as though you're like completely alone in the dark and that no one understands you. No one sees, no one sees where you're at, right? No one sees the world in the same way that you do. And then you find a sense of purpose in a community here where you're like, no, actually people do look at this stuff and think it's fucked up. And we have to expand on that. We have to expand on that sense of shared purpose and a sense of community around progressive values, a sense of community that centers humanity and empathy for those who are, more vulnerable than we are. So this is the reason why I will never cast aside people coming out and saying good things. Now, of course, there are obviously differences. There are obviously some bad faith actors who will utilize incidents like Asmongold, when they see that it's like indefensible to a certain degree, or at least that when they feel as though their audience is no longer considering this act of violence to be defensible, because he was saying, fuck around and find out. I should kill all these protesters, fuck them all, whatever, like last week. And then boom, all of a sudden it happens again. And he's like, oh, I guess this is a bridge too far. Like that's a little bit different than the likes of, Markiplier coming out and speaking out, because he's always been very progressive. He's always actually, he's put his money where his mouth is. He's always been progressive. I would go so far as say even with Charlie, like he's the normie meter, but he also has a political point of view and he doesn't shy away from saying it. So I'm happy. I'll always take that, regardless of whether or not they're not there at the right time, or even, especially from my own personal perspective. You have to think about it this way. These are my colleagues. These are my peers. In some instances, these are my friends, maybe now coworkers, right? And for years and years, I've been speaking truth to justice, especially as it pertains to Palestinian existence, the Holocaust that Israel has done to the Palestinian population. And while I was getting inundated with smears over and over again, being called a fucking terrorist, demanding that the federal government actually come after me, detain me. The federal government literally did detain me. Not a single one of these guys spoke out. So if I can find it in my fucking heart to still turn around and say, let bygones be bygones, it's good that these guys are speaking out, you should be able to as well. Okay? Do you understand? That's it. You're a better person than me? Yeah, because I'm not in this for an agenda that revolves around getting a fucking quick dunk on people who I don't think are perfect. Find solidarity in those afraid as well, and stand together. Courage is something that can be hard to find for yourself, but it is in abundance when given to others that might need it. Yeah, and that's the role that I play. That's the role that I try to play, at the very least, to the best of my ability. Okay? What did you think of my state? Never again? No, it's awesome. I love Minneapolis. I love Minnesota. Minnesota's beautiful. I will definitely be back, hopefully under better circumstances. But yeah, so like I said, if I can find it in my heart to be like, you shouldn't get super mad about these people only now speaking out, because it's still good that they're speaking out at all. And it's good because change never comes unless people have the courage to speak out. Change never comes unless people have the courage to speak out. And people will never get the courage to speak out until, they see others doing it. And that's precisely my point. That's my job. That's the way I see my role in American society, in modern American society, is that I try to, with my community, there's a very sizable, very large community. I try to make it so that people understand that like this is fashionable and cool if you only care about politics from the perspective of vibes, and that it is something that is appropriate. It is something that it should be lauded. It is something that you shouldn't be afraid to say, Yeah, but the tide is shifting. That's what I choose to look at. The tide is shifting dramatically. I mean, look at this. Look, coworker Ludwig responding to Los Pollos, who said, listen fucking carefully because this is fucking facts. If you don't mind. Like, he just goes on this like long tangent basically saying like, you're going to fuck around and find out if you actually speak out, or if you actually do something about ICE, like instead of just like rolling over and letting them kill you. you kind of deserve it. Okay? Mind your own fucking business. If you disagree with anything in the country, you can peacefully protest anything you want, even though you're wasting your precious time on this earth and it's annoying. It's not against the law to protest. It is against the law to interfere with literal federal agents, police, etc. You cannot fucking do that. I don't give a fuck how you feel about ICE. Do you want to get fucking hurt? Nobody with a sane mind would drive a car into federal agents, run up on them and interfere, grab, push, shove, touch in any way whatsoever. It's like, bro, you are literally zero IQ, okay? Like, you have reframed these events in a way that makes ICE look like they're doing normal federal, operations when they're not. Like, you only arrive at this position if you have slave mindset, okay? If you are a slave who is most famous for being castrated and ends up committing suicide, right? Like that famous Wikipedia article that I think of all the time when I see this kind of shit. That's where my mind goes. I'm like, you are literally a castrated slave, okay? Like, what are you talking about? ICE is not doing normal federal operations. Just because the government said that ICE needs to go and fucking kill people in a neighborhood, or ICE needs to go and like deport people in a neighborhood, doesn't mean that it's the appropriate thing to do. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Do you agree with that? Do you think immigrants are all dangerous that must be fucking forcibly excised from the periphery, from the boundaries of this state? Because if you don't, then you should probably have an opinion on this. That's number one. Number two, you then immediately identify the people that are protesting against ICE or doing community watch to try to protect their neighbors as the wrongdoers here, as the evildoers, and not the fucking federal agency that's killing American citizens. That's insane. How can your priorities be so twisted? How can they be so distorted? How can it be so out of whack? I don't even fucking understand it. Anyway, nobody with the same mind would drive a car into a federal agent, run up on them, interfere, grab, push, shove, touch in any way whatsoever. And it's so disrespectful to both Renee Good and Alex Peretti as well, because we saw those fucking videos. And those videos don't show this at all. Peasant mindset. Classic hog mindset. Please listen. Stop listening. And no, he's not Hispanic. Yeah, but the tide is shifting. That's what I choose to look at. The tide is shifting dramatically. I mean, look at this. Like, look, co-worker Ludwig responding to Los Pollos, who said, listen fucking carefully because this is fucking facts. If you don't mind. Like, he just goes on this like long tangent basically saying like, you're going to fuck around and find out if you actually speak out or if you actually do something about ICE, like instead of just like rolling over and letting them kill you, you kind of deserve it. Okay. Mind your own fucking business. If you disagree with anything in the country, you can peacefully protest anything you want, even though you're wasting your precious time on this earth and it's annoying. It's not against the law to protest. It is against the law to interfere with literal federal agents, police, etc. You cannot fucking do that. I don't give a fuck how you feel about ICE. Do you want to get fucking hurt? Nobody with a sane mind would drive a car into federal agents, run up on them and interfere, grab, push, shove, touch in any way whatsoever. It's like, bro, you are literally zero IQ, okay? Like, you have reframed these events in a way that makes ICE look like they're doing normal federal, operations when they're not. Like, you only arrive at this position if you have slave mindset, okay? If you are a slave who is most famous for being castrated and ends up committing suicide, right? Like that famous Wikipedia article that I think of all the time when I see this kind of shit. That's where my mind goes. I'm like, you are literally a castrated slave, okay? Like, what are you talking about? ICE is not doing normal federal operations. Just because the government said that ICE needs to go and fucking kill people in a neighborhood, or ICE needs to go and like deport people in a neighborhood, doesn't mean that it's the appropriate thing to do. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Do you agree with that? Do you think immigrants are all dangerous that must be fucking forcibly excised from the periphery, from the boundaries of this state? Because if you don't, then you should probably have an opinion on this. That's number one. Number two, you then immediately identify the people that are protesting against ICE or doing community watch to try to protect their neighbors as the wrongdoers here, as the evildoers, and not the fucking federal agency that's killing American citizens. That's insane. How can your priorities be so twisted? How can they be so distorted? How can it be so out of whack? I don't even fucking understand it. Anyway, nobody with the same mind would drive a car into a federal agent, run up on them, interfere, grab, push, shove, touch in any way whatsoever. And it's so disrespectful to both Renee Good and Alex Peretti as well, because we saw those fucking videos. And those videos don't show this at all. Peasant mindset. Classic hog mindset. Please listen. Stop listening. And no, he's not Hispanic. His name is Los Pollos TV, but he's an Italian from New Jersey. Okay, and you know, I mean, classic opinion. Please listen. Stop listening to the people on the internet lying to you, saying we're invaded and it's Nazis and there aren't cops or whatever the fuck, because those people are directly getting people fucking killed. No politician either should be telling people that ICE needs to be abolished. You're just making more and more people that are slow think they need to go out and fight these people that are trying to do their job. Also, very funny that he's calling people defending their own fucking communities slow when this is the slowest goddamn POV I've ever heard in my entire goddamn life. Okay. Oh, be smart like me. What are you doing? Be smart like me. Eat the dick. Eat the government's dick every day. Be smart. Come on now. I'm apolitical. By the way, this is like the classic. This is the classic case of an apolitical guy who runs around saying he's apolitical, but then also will just straight up take the government propaganda, hook, line, and sinker, right? Fight these people are just trying to do their jobs. Yeah, so were the Nazis. It doesn't matter how you feel America voted for this. If you disagree, it's okay, but you can't stop it. Do I personally agree with the way shit is happening? Like, bro, if they came after this motherfucker's chicken tenders, okay? If they came after this motherfucker's chicken nuggets, he would be feeling a different type of way, okay? But because he's so out of touch, his perspective is completely fucking warped, okay? This is what I mean. It's like, oh, I'm just apolitical. Why don't you let the government do its thing? What are you doing? Like, don't criticize. Yeah, he could have just Drake and drove. You know what I mean? He could have just Drake and drove instead of tweeting this shit out. But instead, he tweeted this shit out. So when I saw it, and I'm already in transit, I'm coming back to LA, I was like, well, okay, suck my dick. Right? Do I personally agree with the way shit is happening with social media? How there were weird hype videos arresting illegal immigrants? Fuck no, that shit is weird. But that doesn't change the fact that people voted for this. I don't get why I don't want to see anybody get hurt the same way. You shouldn't argue or fight with police if you're pulled over, etc. The same thing. The particular incident yesterday is tragic, but would never have happened if that guy didn't do what he did. Yeah, which is literally watching a woman get pushed into the fucking concrete, okay, and then stepping in. He's literally turning around and saying, like, be a pussy. Allow ICE agents to fuck you. They can fuck you in the ass. Why don't you let them fuck your butt? Why don't you let them? Why don't you open up? Make it easier for them to thrust their little dicks in your butthole. I don't understand it. If you see a fucking ICE agent and they decide to kill somebody, you can't even fucking film it. Don't dare film it, because then they might get mad. They might get mad. You don't want to piss them off. These guys are scary. Okay? This particular incident yesterday is tragic. Don't even put yourself in the position for there to be a fatal accident or mistake. These agents are cops. Any law enforcement are fucking humans. They're people with families. They don't want to die either if they feel threatened because they don't know. Hey, what the fuck you're planning? You're chasing them, driving them after, running up on them. You're putting yourself and them in a bad position. Yeah, it's like victim blaming. Yeah, you were kind of asking for it. Okay, you were kind of asking for it. Why'd you put yourself in the crosshairs of an ICE agent? Everybody knows if an ICE agent wants to kill you, they're like a T-Rex or a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Don't make any sudden movements. They will fucking eat you. And if they do eat you, I say, hey, why were you in the vicinity of a Velociraptor? You were asking for it. Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, if they're human beings, they should be able to respond to other human beings without escalating the fucking violence and tear gassing people in the face, right? Anyway. This isn't fucking rocket science. Leave these motherfuckers alone, or you run the risk of getting hurt or worse. I don't know, or how people ever got this idea that it's a good idea to interfere with law enforcement. Please just stop. Hey, yo. If I find out Aunt Frank is hiding in my friend's attic, I'm telling the Gestapo, because otherwise they can't do their fucking jobs right. Sorry, neighbor. I know we're in the Netherlands, but guess what? It's Nazi-lands now. Give them up. That's what it is. Like that. This is, please just comply, bro. Tread on me. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, tread on me. So I responded. Okay, he's like, I'm not here defending what happened to that guy yesterday. Whatever. He like said all this dumb shit afterwards, right? Because like I saw this tweet and I immediately was like, you say this because they're not storming your gated community. I went out there. I saw the real fear. America's all walks of life terrified to go outside. A community being sieged by tyrants. People asked to show their papers. America's getting detained and even gunned down. Wake up. Because I thought maybe I was wrong, but I thought maybe he would be a little bit more understanding. Okay? He was not a little bit more understanding at all. As a matter of fact, as soon as I fucking tweeted that, he insta-locked what you hear from some of the dumbest people on the planet, which is, oh, you abuse your dog, though. Oh, you're a dog abuser. You live in a gated community. You're rich, too. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like he did the KFC double down, right? This dumb fuck did the KFC double down. And even his own fans are cooking him, too, right? Like, his own fucking fans are cooking his ass and saying, like, you should probably stay out of this, right? Like even his own fans were like, bro, I didn't even fuck with you like that, but you're actually right on this. Oh, Los Pollos, why are you making me agree with Hasan? I hate that guy, all this shit, right? Maybe they'll fucking open up their third eye for some reason in the aftermath of this and wake up that they've been getting cooked. He responded to my, you say this because they're not storming your gated community. You're a direct reason people are getting gunned down with your lunatic insanity riddled rants and convincing people these aren't real law enforcement officers and that they need to do something about it. First of all, Vance, who is this person? He's just like a fucking kick streamer. He's been around for a while. He's a little bit of a lol cow. People make fun of him a lot, but like, he has like a modest audience, whatever, like a modest size audience. It don't matter. He's like a fucking New Jersey dipshit living in fucking Florida now, doing gambling ads, and Drake's, number one dick rider, right? Or number two dick rider. I guess DJ Academics is number one, and he's like, number two. But it's so fucking stupid to be like, I'm the reason why ICE is killing people. Like, you have to be a real fucking moron to come up with that idea. And it turns out he is a real fucking moron. You're not out anywhere. You live in a mansion and was spoon-fed your existence by your rich family. You don't know shit about the real world, and you fill the heads of all these impressionable people with hate-mongering, disturbing rhetoric. Yeah. Guys, I taught you to hate when a rogue federal agency at the direction of a fascist administration starts killing people in the fucking streets. You wouldn't have hated that. You would have been like, if it wasn't for me, you would have been like, oh, I love this. I love when there's a fucking military occupation on an American city directed by an American president. That's actually my biggest thing. I want more of that. But then you encounter my commentary and you go, wait a minute. Now I'm mad. Like, that's how little he thinks of everyone, right? And that's how he also grossly overestimates his intelligence, even though he has no intelligence whatsoever. And this is demonstrated by the fact that he literally makes it seem as though I'm the reason why people are mad. Anyway, and then he says you're not out there, which is also not true, but whatever. It's not even politics. You're just a lost person who shocks their dog and preaches nonsense to pre-tweens, right? Got cooked by Brandon, bunch of other people. Anyway, fat fucking chud. To which I replied with, the American government is laying siege on a city, wounding, gassing, disappearing, killing people. And this out-of-touch donut thinks you should just sit there and eat it. I know it's ironic for me to say this, but streamers truly deserve less. I've been doing this for 12 years, lard ass. Yes, I'm the reason why Trump is sending ICE to blue cities to terrorize the population. This is your brain on internet drama. You're a whole ass adult. Either stick to begging Drake for validation or read a goddamn book. If you're going to speak on politics, you moron. Laws is just giving realistic advice. People are getting shot at these protests. Telling people to stay home is the right thing. It's like, I guess this is just like peasant mindset, right? Like, some people are just like permanently brain broken. They are permanently relegated to peasantry, and they'll never recover from it, right? They will always look to situations like this and just be like, this is good, actually. And you should just comply even harder than the way that you could have complied. Bro said lard ass. Oh, you guys like that? Anyway, and then, of course, the other opportunists are tuning in. Because he said, I'll be live at 3 p.m. today, done tweeting, and people trying to twist my words. One thing about me is you'll never be able to twist my words. I use common sense, and I'm not political, and I don't aim to divide. That's my favorite. My favorite is, I'm just doing common sense. It's just common sense to allow a Nazi-style siege on an American city where you're kidnapping and disappearing and wounding Americans. And then you're also detaining them and you're asking them for their papers. And then when people say, hey, we don't like this, we kill them. And that's common sense. I'm not political. I love common sense. So I responded. I said, give me a call if you want an adult to walk you through this troubling time when people are being killed by our government and somehow you're still the biggest victim. To which, of course, XQC instantly, because he's Mr. fucking everything is content that I can farm, said, don't fall for it, Los. He just wants free wins on Discord voice, which, by the way, this is a dunk on Los Pollos, ironically enough. Like, he's literally saying, Los Pollos, you're too stupid to debate Hasan. Not an intellectual conversation / debate. He actively dodges me because he can't smurf on me anymore. He farms low elo lobbies exclusively these days. This is so funny that XQC thinks he is a high elo debater.